Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Knit Chat. My name is Claudia, and I am here to talk about knitting, spinning, crocheting, everything fiber related. Today, we are talking about summer knitting, and I'm not gonna lie. The reason why I wanted to talk about summer knitting is because it's really hot right now. We just went through a really warm, well, not warm, hot spell in Montreal, Quebec. And it made me think about different ways that people utilize the summer in their making journey. So maybe I'd like to know if you're listening to this podcast and you have a way to reply to me, maybe through my YouTube channel, Clone Knits, or just by messaging me on Claude Tricot with an S on other social media platforms. Um, what do you do during the summer? Do you keep knitting? Do you keep knitting just anything? Do you stop knitting and put your creativity into something else? Um, I've seen all sorts of makers in the summer, and here are some of the things I like to do in the summer. First of all, for me, knitting during the summer has always been a thing since I was a knitter. So I never really stopped knitting. When I started knitting, it was so I could knit all year long. There was really no idea in my brain as to why I should stop knitting in the winter. But it took me many, many years to start knitting summer things, meaning at first during the summer, I would just knit whatever felt, amazing to knit. Obviously, if I had a winter sweater in mind, I would still knit it during the summer, knowing that it would take time to be finished. And then I would be able to wear it in the fall or in the winter. I would also knit socks a lot during the summer because they're small and they're easy to carry around without ending up with this big sweater on your lap that will get you very warm. So I still knit in the summer, but just not specific things for the summer. It's just recently in the last few years that I decided to make things for the summer. Tank tops, t-shirts, um, things that would cover my upper body, but without keeping me warm. It really probably helped that so many designers came out with really great summery garments. Um, and then it took me until I think maybe last year to actually try summer fibers because before that, I would generally knit my summer garments still in wool because wool, let's be real, can be worn in the summer. You just have to be a little bit thoughtful about how you do it, but obviously you wouldn't wear a ultra ultra thick. That's what my tongue didn't want to do. Ultra thick woolen sweater in the summer, but a lighter weight, more airy gauge wool t-shirt is actually very comfortable. Um, because wool, you know, makes your body keep its warmth or keep its cool. And so, yeah, all that to say, if you feel like wool is always keeping you hot or making you too hot, maybe wool garments in the summer are not for you. But if wool has a tendency to just keep you at a good level, try it out. Maybe you'll be surprised. All that to say, um, this summer is my summer of wanting to knit all the summer things. And then it is kind of weird because, by the time I feel like knitting summer um, fibers and summer things, it's already like into the summer. And here in Quebec, summer does not last very long, unfortunately. I love summer. I know most knitters are like the opposite as me and they like fall and they like cooler weathers. I am a summer person. I like the warmth. I like the sun. I like the vibe of like just being able to go outside with, my sandals and and a tank top and a short or a skirt, and that's it. Yeah, it makes me feel really good. So, all that being said, it's July 12th right now when I'm recording this, and we're already like almost halfway into the hot weather here. So I'm just trying to make as many summer garments as I can. The ones I made this year, I started by knitting a tank top, full length spaghetti strap with a little bit of lace in the front. It is called the Gelato tank top by Gabrielle Vézina, who's a Quebec designer. And I actually used a alpaca silk blend. And the alpaca is generally quite warm, but the silk has a cooling effect. And the drape of alpaca and silk together makes this super flowy and very comfortable to wear. So I'm really happy about that one. That's number one that I made this year. Then I have on my list, if you don't know about Jessie Made Designs, well, let me tell you about Jessie Made Designs. She is an amazing designer and she designs a lot of summer stuff, a lot of very cute tank tops that I personally find so fun to wear. I'm a tank top person. I've always been a tank top person. And so the no sleeve thing is my thing. So I already have a bunch of her designs in my wardrobe, but she came out, I don't know how she does it, to be honest. She came out with like 15 more. It feels like just in the last few weeks. It's not 15. I know it's not, but it feels like it. Anyway, I my second tank top of the year I finished maybe last week, and it is called the Totally Tank Totally Tank Top. And it is a racerback lower neck tank top. I made it with a blend of wool and hemp, and it's the first time I use hemp in my knitting, and it was actually really nice because there was more wool than hemp. It is the granola base by Biscuit Yarns, and the hemp just give it this little crunchy feeling within the wool. And I absolutely am in love with it. I've been wearing it ever since. Um, I have to say that the appeal of knitting tank tops is that oftentimes for me, as a quite small chested and short person, I can get away with knitting a tank top in one skein of either fingering weight yarn or lace weight, or maybe DK if it's a very cropped top. Right now, I'm knitting something and I'll talk about it in a second, but I'm using 2 balls of DK weight yarn. I just love the fact that I can make those things really fast. So it's really rewarding for me to be knitting summer garments because my winter sweaters, sometimes I hit a wall making, whereas my summer garments, it's much more rare than that I'm like, okay, I'm bored with this, I need to move on to something else, because by the time I would get bored, I'm already almost done. I did finish another Jessie Made Designs top. It's the Ripple Bralette, which is one of her, oldest designs, and I already have 3 of those that I use all the time. And I don't know why that one just turned out too small. Super frustrating. I because it was on my needle for so long. I started it last year with a leftover sock weight yarn that I had in my stash, and I love the colors. It is a La Bien-Aimée colorway that was a limited edition Studio Ghibli color. Can't remember which one right now. I might have been Ponyo based, the movie Ponyo. If you've never seen the Studio Ghibli movies, by the way, just go go watch them now. They're amazing. All that to say, I love the color, and I didn't have a lot of the yarn, so I thought let's make something small, like a ripple bralette. And it's really a fun colorway with a bunch of colors that are really bright. And so as a bralette, it's perfect because it gets to live under my shirts and not like be too much in your face. And then when I got to the straps, which are made by doing an I cord, I kind of just I don't know by that time it was probably the end of the summer, and I put it aside and forgot about it. And then I picked it up recently, finished it, and it's too small. I used the same needles. I made the same size. I think what happened is I that yarn is probably just a little bit on the light fingering side, and it's too small. So option number one is to give it to my youngest child. She's 7. I would have to probably change the straps. It probably would fit her around the bust, but it probably wouldn't, it would be too deep in the shoulder and chest area. The other option is to literally start it over. Someone mentioned that, said just do it again in a bigger size. And you know what? I'm kind of tempted because that color is just so beautiful. But I'm scared I won't finish it if I do it again because there's so many other things on my list of amazing tank tops and summer things to knit. So we'll see. I'm also knitting at this moment the Look at My Holes from James and Watts. It is a layering piece that goes, well, it could be a non-layering piece for people that don't mind showing their breasts. For me, it's going to be a layering piece on top of either a bralette or a tank top or something, yeah, something small like that. It is a perfectly fun tank top. It's called Look at My Holes. So obviously it is full of holes, which makes it perfect for the beach, the summer. I'm really excited. I'm hoping I can finish it before I go to vacation because I'm going to be at a lake house. I'll be down on the dock every day with my kids. And I think it'd be really fun to be wearing over my bathing suit. The only thing is I wouldn't wear it over my bathing suit like in times where the UV is way high because I burn. Yeah, I burn a lot. So I have an UV long sleeve bathing suit to protect my skin during the day. But then when the sun starts, being less intense, then I can take off the UV bathing suit, put my regular bathing suit on and put the Look at My Holes over top. Anyway, I'm very excited to knit that one. And then obviously there are plenty more on my list that I would like to do. My oldest daughter, who's 9 years old, also asked me to knit her a ripple. It's not the ripple bralette, sorry. It's the Summer Secret crop. No, it's one that goes up a little bit closer to the neck in a square neckline, and it is ribbed in like 3/3 rib. And I absolutely adore mine, so I'm going to be making one for my daughter. That being said, I still always have a pair of socks on my needles. I've been knitting sock galore. I love summer sock knitting because I get to kind of refill my sock drawer. My socks have been slowly and surely getting more and more wear out of all of them. And so most of them need a little repair, which I haven't been doing because I just put them to the side and then I forget. So that's going to be another episode. Let's talk about mending at some point. But I need to mend most of my socks. But also it makes me think some of them might just be, too far gone and they're going to, go live with my balls of old socks in my dryer, because that's what I do with my old socks. I put them in a ball, the two socks together in a ball, and put them in my dryer as dryer balls. Um, and I need more socks. So if I get to knit a bunch of socks during the summer, I don't really wear them during the summer. I wear some sometimes, but much more infrequently. Is that the word that I should be using? I don't know. Which means that those new socks don't get worn until it's a little bit cooler, and then I got a bunch of brand new socks. It's kind of like the tradition that people. I don't know if people still do that, but for a few years, people would knit socks all year long and put them in a box and open their box of socks on Christmas. I could never do that because I really want to wear them. But what I can do is knit them during the summer so I can wear them fresh in the fall. So I've been knitting a whole lot of socks. Another thing I've been curious about knitting are those little bandanas. I've To be honest, the first times I saw those patterns come out, like the Sophie scarf or something like that, I thought they were kind of not for me. Like I couldn't see myself knitting a tiny little triangle to put around my neck, because when I wear a scarf, it is to protect me from the cold. And it gets cold here, very cold. So what would I do with a tiny little scarf? How could that fit into my life? But right now, what I'm thinking is it could be a super fun thing to be working on, because it's small, it's quick, it doesn't take much space, and maybe it is nice to have a small little scarf to put around your neck when it's not that cold. Because it is true that I've had a few moments in the spring, going towards the summer, where the morning was just a little bit too cold to not be wearing something around my neck, but all the shawls I have are humongous, like Stephen West size, with mohair sometimes too, or in Nutiden, which is an untreated woolly wool. And the woolly woolness of a big scarf around your neck when it's like beginning of June does not make any sense. But I had nothing else to put around my neck. So maybe a bandana is actually a great thing to have. And maybe even it's a great thing to gift if it's something I end up not wearing, because I have so many single skeins of yarn that are kind of sleeping in my stash and I don't know what to do with them. And maybe just knitting back and forth some garter stitch or stockinette stitch to just knit those skeins would actually bring me joy, because they'd be out of my stash. They'd be something. And then I can decide whether I'm going to wear it or not. In that case, that would be a process knitting and not a product knitting, a finished object knitting. And I'm fine with that. Generally, I'm kind of halfway in between process knitter and finished object knitter, because I like having the finished object and I'm knitting the thing that I want to wear. But the process is as rewarding because, it's nice to knit it, obviously. So, yeah, those are like a lot of my thoughts on summer knitting. The reason why I love knitting socks in the summer too is because I can knit while I walk my dog. I knit and walk all the time. I have a little, project bag that goes around my arm. I've got two different types right now that work really well for me. Jezabel B makes amazing small bags that fit perfectly a skein of sock yarn. And also, Dolfina from Dolfina Collective has this box bag, which is perfect also for carrying a pair of socks. And so I have those two bags that I kind of have a sock in each, and I just walk around knitting socks. I've seen a lot of people also knitting hats. That's a good idea. except I have a million. Have so many hats in my house and they're scattered around everywhere because my daughters they can choose which one they want to wear depending on the day, etc., etc. And then some end up being lost. And then I find them months and months later. All that to say, hats are a great option. I think the reason why I knit more socks is because I have a decent sized stash of sock yarn that needs to be knitted. So if your stash is more like worsted weight or DK weight or Aran weight, maybe go for the hats in the summer. That's my whole thing on summer knitting. I love summer knitting. And then while I'm thinking about all the summer knitting, or while I'm doing all the summer knitting, I keep adding to my summer knitting queue that I will never get to knit the entirety of, obviously, but I'll knit the summer things up until it gets a little bit cooler, like September probably. And in September, I'll go back to my sweater knitting, bigger stuff. And I'll probably cast aside whatever's not finished for summer and pick it back up again in May when I feel the urge to make something summery. If you haven't given summer knitting a shot, just go for it. I'd be really happy to see and know what you're knitting on. And if you have other designers that you truly love for summer garments, let me know. Let me know in the comments if there are other subjects you would like me to cover in this knit chat. I really appreciate talking about kind of everything and anything. I hope you had a good time listening to the knit chat, and I will see you again very soon. Happy knitting. Bye.